Gaethje is ranked number 3. Fedzayev is ranked number 6. Gaethje and Fedzayev are going to be fighting like 2 pay-per-views from now. Call it UFC 286. So, but stay with me. I know there's some stuff jumping around. I follow the rankings closer than some people do. And they had a personable meaning for me in just that I was here when the rankings came along. The rankings have not always been with us. In 2012 is when they got introduced. Now, I was in the room at Fox when this announcement was made, and we were informed that we would then go on to studio and inform all of you about this new ranking system. And it was explained to us for what it is. Controversy. There was nothing that was going to create controversy, to create conversation more than this, and it's the one thing that we didn't have, other sports did. We're going to bring in a ranking system. Now, I personally liked that because I understood it, and I understood it from the standpoint of the honesty that was revealed to me. And I want to come and I want to give you guys rankings. But instead of getting back and forth and bitter and hearing your little nasty tones, I want to tell you the entire premise is to create a back and forth about the fighters on the top and who should be where. So when you understand it from that perspective, I think you do look at it a little different. Now, on a personal note, I was the first fighter to ever be ranked in 2 weight classes simultaneously. I was number 4 at 185 pounds, and I was number 7 at 205 pounds. So I had 2 different spots that I was in the top 10, and that enraged people. It enraged them. How? Make him choose one. Why should he be the one? And there was a period of my career where things that were only happening were happening to me. That if you were to copy and go do what I did, you might even be released from the company. But for me, some reason, make more money doing it. It was one of these weird points. So they had me in the same spot, and then they got challenged. People didn't want that. And the rankings committee, and at that time, they did come out and they did come with a response, and it had something to do. It's 11 years ago now, but it did have something to do, and they kept me simultaneous. They kept me in those 2 spots, and they didn't put anybody else in there, but it had something to do with, as long as I had competed in this weight class within the last 12 months, I was eligible to remain ranked in that weight class. I don't know that they've ever changed that rule. I've not heard of it being changed. But when I saw the rankings today, when I saw that Gaethje was ranked number 3 at 155 pounds, when I saw that Fedzayev was ranked number 6 at 155 pounds, I thought to myself, that sounds right. Those guys are both really good. Those guys are both top guys. There's a reason they're fighting in a co-main event spot of a pay-per-view. It could mean number 1 contendership by the time that match rolls around. It's a big deal. Where's Volkanovski? Like, that was the one part I couldn't get. I got Gaethje at 2. I got Fedzayev at 6. I get that we're matching them in March, right before we contest Leon and Usman for the 3rd time. I understood the whole thing. Where is Volkanovski? And I take my eyes off that section of the page and I go to a different section called featherweight, and I saw that he was at number 1. Now, that would make sense that he's not number 1, considering he's the champion. Considering he's undefeated there and nobody's beaten him, that would make a lot of sense. Why was he not ranked at the weight class that he just competed in? What made him ineligible for ranking? What disqualified him from being considered? I can only go back to my own situation in 2012. And nothing kept me from doing it as long as I competed there once in the last 12 months. See, I like that rule. I like that rule because if we have a guy who's hurt, something like, we should have him out of the rankings. Francis Ngannou has not competed for a year. He should not be ranked. I mean, just so that you understand that. You're either tough enough to go out there and try, or you're not tough enough to even go out there and try. We can take you out of the rankings. So it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty simple as to why it did happen to me. We should take that same logic and apply it to other guys, that if they don't fight within a calendar year, they become ineligible for rankings. But we should also take a look at Volkanovski, who just beat your champion, according to many. And even if you want to just show respect to the outcome of the fight, not have any kind of sour grapes, it would still put it at number 2, I think. Not knowing whether to put him at 1 or number 2, not knowing if we should put him at 3 or 4, knowing he belongs there. But one way of solving this is we just don't put him there at all. We move on. And then we hope a guy like Chael doesn't notice.